Welcome back to Talking Story. My name is John Minton, and we have made it through another week. It is time for our weekly reader roundup Sunday evening. Grab a frosty beverage, hang out. Let's hang out together. Let's talk about books. Let's talk about all the good things. Let's slow down. I hope last week was stress-free and full of 5-star reads for everyone. Had a good week. Let's get right into it. Jacob, say hello.
Why am I saying hello?
Just because you have a microphone now and it's important?
I mean, if you say it's important, I'll believe you.
I think it's important. Everyone out there thinks it's important to hear your sweet dulcet tones joining the videos.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, you
if
have
it was
to.
One.
That's how I meant it. So let's go. What have I been reading this past week? Okay, I wrapped up Jacqueline Hagan's The Spider Key. This is book 2 in the Riverfall Chronicles. So many questions left after Wickwire Watch. I love the mystery of Wickwire Watch. I was just overcome with questions. I wanted answers, and this actually starts to give them to us. The genre blending is still there in force. We still have the feel of like a Dickensian gas lamp, steampunkish mystery, political intrigue, and at the same time, a very nice overlay, like a candy shell over the whole thing of this foreboding horror. Think about like a Michael Moorcock situation of a multiversal thing, or a Lovecraftian situation of a multiversal danger, kind of trying to break through that candy shell and get at the soft, gooey centers of these characters that we're starting to love. And the best part about this is I felt in book 2, she actually took that camera lens that we had in book 1, that she was just showing us so many aspects of the world and following so many disparate characters spread out all over. The camera lens starts to pull, the focus starts to get narrower and narrower, and we start to really follow this group of cultists that we kind of have started to feel like a family. And we're really starting to feel like, well, in the beginning, book 1's Wickwire Watch, it's like, oh my gosh, it says right on the book cover, trust no one, and I didn't. Who really is speaking the truth here? By book 2, I think that lens is narrowing down, and this family that we're following, this cultist family that we're following, that has been thrown on the outs due to propaganda and some other things in this world, I'm starting to put that aside. I'm really starting to go all in. I hope she doesn't jerk the rug out from under me when I get to Blue Flames, book 3. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the answers we got. I really enjoyed the compounded questions that springboard off those answers that we got. I really enjoy this world, and I really enjoy the genre blending and that just foreboding bit of horror. I really want to know what's going on, not only in this universe, but in worlds that are next door to this world that we're in, if that makes sense, in that Lovecraftian Moorcock way that I was speaking of before. So I just really am enamored with this series. I really am enamored with this writer, just coming out of the gates, throwing this kind of work out there right away. And this was a wonderful read. I really enjoyed it. It was my indie read for the month. And so excited because this week coming up, we're going to have Jacqueline Hagan on the channel, and I get to ask her all these questions, and at the same time, with the same breath, say, don't answer that because I don't want to know. I want to keep reading the books and being surprised, but at the same time, I've got questions. But we're going to go over her process. We're going to go over her dreams for the future of this series, all kinds of things. I hope you tune in, because this is, if you have not started, this is absolutely a series and a writer you should be following without a doubt. It is a finalist in this year's SPIFBO, so I mean, I think that goes without saying. It is one of the top indie choices you can get into this year. I have found that to be true in any case. And after that, I picked up this doorstop of a book, The Blackest Heart by Brian Lee Durfee. I have it on very good authority that this, like all of his books, are published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. And This is the buddy read that we are doing with Matt at Go Read Books, Usman at Bards and Books, Josh at Red Fury Books, and Bert from Bert's Library. He reviews on Twitter, so check Bert out. He's an awesome guy as well. And I had the most fun with Forgetting Moon, and even more fun with our little discussion group that we had. It's on Josh's channel, Red Fury Books. If you haven't checked it out, there's a spoiler-free section at the beginning. If you haven't got into this series yet, and you kind of want to see, is it for me? I'm not sure. Check out that spoiler-free section before we just blow the doors off and start just talking about everything. What a great time. I smile about it every time I think about that discussion group. It was so much fun. And I do believe coming up on March 1st, I think it's at 8 o'clock, but we'll make sure we get that out there. We're going to have the same crazy reviewers getting together to take on the 5 Warrior Angels again. We're going to have a discussion on Book 2, The Blackest Heart. And I can't wait to get with those guys again and go over everything that's going on in this book. I would say about halfway through. My goal by the end of the night here Sunday, starting up a new week, is to be at right around 500 pages or so, and I'm pretty close to that. I am enjoying this, and you know what? I enjoyed the first book. I'm not going to say I didn't. I had some issues. I had some issues about character motivation. I had some issues about some of the intrigue, the political intrigue, where it was going, if it was going to pay off. But I was kind of surprised when I picked this book up and started getting into it. It was like a homecoming. It was like that homecoming feeling I was not expecting. I really enjoyed checking back in with these characters again. Multi-POV stories, you're kind of all over. Holy War kind of exonerable, forces coming together. You cannot stop them. The clock is ticking in this holy war, and you've got several points of view, and I'm sure the final battle I hear is going to be out of this world crazy. So as this is all coming together, you're getting disparate points of view on both sides. And to check back in with everybody was really great. I really had a great time. There's no character that I found to be a B or a C character. Even characters that maybe don't have their own POV now are starting to get their own POV. They're starting to become important, and it's like I just love checking in with all of them. And it was it's kind of like old home week, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm pretty sure Brian Lee Durfee felt he had 5 books under his belt. I think it kind of is following in this holy war, and it's following these 5 iconic warriors that are going to fight in it: the gladiator, the assassin, the thief, the princess, and the slave, and each special magical weapon they're all going to have. And I think Blackest Heart is the crossbow that they're kind of involved in this book with. And I think he had in his mind a book for each of these things. Because if there's one thing I would say, that the plot gets a little bit slow burn, a little bit wonky for me. I think he felt he had, while he was putting this together, more time. Because I'm getting the feeling halfway through, I'm like, well, we should be moving. We should be getting, so this isn't rushed at the end. We should be moving on a little bit here. But I'm all in. I'm enjoying it. It's that great iconography. It's those great tropes of fantasy that we've all grown up loving and seeing over and over again, with a bit of top spin from Brian Lee Durfee. He gets to pull those toys out of the chest, all those icons that I know he grew up reading, that he's a favorite of, putting them on the table, putting his spin on it, and you can absolutely see the glee, the joy he's having playing with those toys, and to me it just makes it fun to read. So I can't wait to finish it. I can't wait for the next discussion group, and next month we're going to be wrapping this up, book 3, with, I think it's called The Lonesome Crown. But this has been just a great time. If you haven't tried this yet, check out on Josh's channel, Red Fury Books, our first discussion, the spoiler-free section at the beginning. And this is going to take me a good chunk into next week. I'm guessing I'll probably be reading on this until probably about Thursday. And then after that, I'm picking up my very first book by Riley Sager, because after a doorstop like this, I wanted to grab just some kind of very quick, just accelerated, quick thriller type of read, and I hear Riley Sager is perfect for that. I have never read him before. He has been suggested to me by Michael and a lot of other people out there, and I can't wait to see what I think of him. And I'm really looking forward to getting to this after Blackest Heart, kind of for that different flavor, that palate cleanser. So really looking forward to that. And then I think I just have one more read left in the month, which is Edge Dancer for our Cosmere catch-up, the novella at the end of the month. That's all I have. If I have any extra time, maybe I'll get back into One Piece. I've been kind of feeling a pull to get back to Volume 2 of One Piece. And I've gone by the shelf and seen it there a couple times, and just I want to get back into that world, but I don't want to let go of anything here, and I don't want to not miss what we had planned for the month. So hopefully, after Edge Dancer, after the stack for February, I've got a little bit extra time. If I do, that is how I'm planning to fill it, just so everyone knows of my schedule out there. Last week on the channel, wow, what a week we had. It was really, really cool. I think Tuesday we had our Talking with Tubers live stream, and Austin and Richard from Tutor Ramble joined me, and we hung out and we talked and we talked and we talked for like 2 hours straight. It was just, it's one of those times when you start talking with someone and it's just like effortless. It's just, oh, I've never talked with you before, but I know you. That's you. You and me. We know each other, and it was just simpatico and comfortable right away. And we laughed and we had a great time. And I tell you, it was just everything I was hoping that series would be. To meet some new people, to meet peers, to meet people that love books and love the kind of books that I like to read and hang out and talk. It just fills such a hole that I had in my life, and I cannot thank them enough for giving of their time and hanging out with me for 2 hours on a Tuesday night. If you haven't checked that live stream out, it's up. Check it out. Those guys, if you haven't checked out their channel, check it out, Tutor Ramble. They never not make me chuckle and smile every time, because their channel is just them going at it and having a little bit of fun with each other. And it's always like you're hanging out at a coffee shop with your friends that love the same kind of books that you do. And it's just that great feeling. And they're very quick, they're very witty, they're very fun, and it's a great channel. And I had a wonderful time hanging out with them. So if you haven't seen it yet, check out that live stream. And then on Thursday, it was the day after Valentine's, and I was feeling a little bit romantic. So I put out there, after reading so many of these books since joining BookTube that had been recommended to me, that I had not got to yet or known about yet, I wanted to put out, wow, these are some of my top fantasy or couples and books that I've been reading lately, and some from before that I just had to throw in there that are my all-time faves. And I just had to put that out there, my favorite couples from some reads lately, fantasy couples for Valentine's Day. And I gotta say, I didn't necessarily think that I could have hot takes expressing my opinion of, you know what, these are some of my favorite fantasy couples. But apparently, I'm way out there. I'm a bit off the beam. I'm that guy. Like, people have a line, or people have an understanding of what a romantic couple would be, or a couple would be, or just the definition that I was off of, because I'm about 42 steps over to the left of that with a red flag going, hey, this is what I think. And it didn't, all of my choices didn't land for everybody. I will say that. And that's okay. I mean, that's the whole point of this, is to start a discussion. I love it. I love the comments. I go back and forth with everybody, whether you agree with me or not. The coolest thing about these books and art in general, completely subjective, how it hits us, how we feel, what we want to talk about, territory we want to stake out for ourselves, hills we want to die on. It's all good. It's all good because it's ours, and it's how it hits us individually. So that list is out there. If you haven't checked it out, apparently it's got some hot takes in it, which was, somewhat news to me. But so check that out if you would like. Coming up this week, I I have been talked into something. I have got talked into something. I love these. I absolutely love it when booktubers do this because, wow, it wraps up a whole year. It gets feedback on so many different books, but I didn't necessarily think I would do it. But Jacob is saying we're going to do it. Tuesday, we're going to do a tier list of everything I read, and you didn't read these.
I don't read.
Yeah, so that's why I feel safe about saying you didn't read these. Everything I read in 2023, you're going to put together on a tier list for me, right?
Sure.
This is, again, I don't get to touch the controls here. I don't get to mess with the computer. I'm not the little man with my hands on the knobs at all. This is all Jacob over there. So he's going to put a tier list together. I'm just going to sit here and go back and forth with him and be a talking face hole and tell him where to put this stuff and where it goes. Is that the way it's going to work?
Well, I have a feeling that this is going to be a 4-hour-long video that I have to cut down to about 20 minutes.
No, okay. You have to give me a time limit. How many seconds do I have for each book?
How many? That's going to have to change.
Well,
because whatever number I give you, you're not going to hit that number.
No, you know me. Give me a goal and I can hit it.
No, you will not.
I can hit it.
There have been so many times that people ask, "Hey, John, can you record a 2-minute thing?" And I have to tell you, we have to record that again because you went on for 5 minutes.
And then the next time, I'm usually right around 2 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm not recording this twice. We're doing one take.
Okay. So I got 70 some odd, 75, 76 books I read last year, right? So I feel we got to do like 10 seconds a book.
Max.
10 seconds a book.
You're not capable of that.
Okay. You could be right. We're going to have to
I'm certain you're not capable.
We're going to have a stopwatch.
I'm not going to sit here and time you for 40 minutes.
We're going to have an egg timer that is strapped to electricity to my nethers or something to jolt me into the next book.
Yeah, we'll swap your chair with an electric chair.
Tuesday, we are going to do an entire tier list. Jacob is putting this together. I'm going to see it for the first time when you guys see it, basically. And we're going to put everything I read in 2023 into a tier list. That's happening Tuesday. The rest of this week, we get to talk with Jacqueline Hagan. Now, this could go one of different ways. She was so wonderful to put out in her newsletter that we will be talking live on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. I usually do my interviews pre-recorded. I meant to record with her Wednesday night, but she already put it out on her newsletter that it's live. So we very well may go live. If this happens, we're going to put out, notify you and everything to let you know sometime as early Tuesday as we possibly can, so you know it's coming up live. If we decide to go ahead and send out like a correction to that newsletter or something, and it's going to just go Thursday pre-recorded from talking with her, then that'll be Thursday. So I'm not quite sure which way that's going to go. I know it's going to be this week. I know we're talking Wednesday. You will either be joining us and be able to join in the chat with us, or it'll be up on Thursday. It's kind of up to her and how she wants to handle it, because I guess we weren't clear with each other when she put out a newsletter saying that it was going to be live. So one way or another, we get to talk to Jacqueline Hagan. So I'm very excited about that. And also coming up this week, I think it's Tuesday. I had a great time last night talking with Dr. Philip Chase for his Dear Dr. Fantasy series on his channel. So Tuesday on his channel, The Best of Fantasy with Dr. Philip Chase. We talked about, I think it was all kinds of philosophical stuff and books and being an old man on book 2. We talked about all. It was, I tell you, the list was long of everything we covered. I think we went for about an hour and a half. It went by like that. And he was the most magnanimous, generous, wonderful host. And I just absolutely, of the people I've met on BookTube, which I've yet to meet anyone that I don't think is just a phenomenal human being, he is absolutely one of them. And I had the most fun with him. So check that out on his channel coming up Tuesday. I'm sure that's what he told me it was going to be out on. So that's it for us here. The last thing is checking in with what I did TV this week. This week I wrapped up. I started and finished, which I usually don't do a whole series a week, which kind of tells you how much I liked it. Gen V on Prime. I'm a big fan of the boys. I'm a big fan of Garth Ennis, period. I love Garth Ennis's comic work. I loved Preacher. I love the boys. So many of his comics have made my top list of just, wow, that's some boundary pushing. If you want to see somebody that pushes boundaries, that goes across that line and stands out in that field with a red flag saying, yeah, I know what trigger warnings are, but still, here I am. Garth Ennis is the guy. And this show is exactly that. If you have, I got to tell you, every trigger warning you could possibly think of, if you have boundaries, if you have tastes that you don't like pushed into an uncomfortable area, this show, The Boys and Gen V, probably are not for you whatsoever, because it is going to... I had an uncle when I was a kid that every time he would see a scab on me, he would mash on it and say, does that hurt? It's kind of like what this show does with trigger warnings. It's going to find them and it's going to mash on them, which for some reason just works for me. I really enjoyed it. It was a very interesting show. I thought it was amazingly a wonderful social satire, looking at so many of these hurdles in our modern society that our young people have to deal with in academic settings and otherwise, and what they have to overcome in the world at large that's throwing at them that other generations might not have had to deal with while they were coming of age and finding themselves into adulthood. But this generation does seem to have to. It put it in this very, very hyper-violent world of superheroes. If you are a fan of the boys and you've kind of been, I'm not sure if this one's going to be for me, it ties in so well. It dovetails and ties in so well between seasons 3 and 4 that's coming up, I think, for the boys. So you absolutely should check it out if you're a fan. But I really liked the social satire part. I really liked the social mirror part of it. The performances were absolutely top-notch. The effects were wonderful. It's got that, it's got that vicious humor. It's got that vicious humor that's like, I should go see somebody because I'm laughing at that, and probably I'm not well on some level to laugh at that. So enter at your own risk is what I would say. This is the deep end. Jump in there if you feel it's for you. I enjoyed it, absolutely. So coming up this week, I don't know, maybe I have been putting off the last season of Peaky Blinders for a while. I've been putting off the last season of Jack Ryan for a while. I've been kind of thinking about season 2 of Wheel of Time, but I can't bring myself to do it. Bodies is something that has been recommended to me. I might just jump into that. Kind of with my reading so structured, guys, I kind of like to do, what I found is I just completely love to mood watch and just sit down and go, this is it. Spin the wheel. This is what it's going to be. So that's kind of how I've been doing it. We'll see what I get up to this week. I do know for sure, possibly tonight, if I can hit page 500 with a little bit of watch time left in the evening, I do want to catch Oppenheimer. I have not seen that movie yet, and it is on Peacock now, so I do want to stream that and check that out. So I better get to work, because that's a pretty lengthy, long movie. So if I'm going to have some watch time tonight, I better get cracking on this, which means I got to sign off and start reading. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. This is one of my favorite parts of the week, hanging out with you guys this way, talking with you all on books. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know how it's going for you. Let me know how last week was, how that book's going for you. I hope it's a 5-star read. Hit me up in the comments. I love comments. It's the whole point that we started this channel, was to have people to talk about with books, because we love books here. I hope you do as well. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. So while you're down there leaving a comment, you're going to see that little thumbs up button. Hey, hit that for me. It helps everything we do. Helps that algorithm come back around to us when it might just, think that this is just a hidden corner of BookTube that doesn't matter. But you hitting that thumbs up really makes all the difference. And while you're there, if you've stopped by a time or two and you haven't subscribed yet, maybe this is your first time and you're like, hey, I kind of like the cut of this doofball's jib and how he talks about books and how he rambles on about absolutely nothing. Hit that subscribe button. I'll tell you what, when you do it, it's so easy. It takes no time at all. It's done. It's a microsecond, and it feels good. It feels good to do it. Try it out and see what you think. That is going to be it for us for the week, Jacob. Do you have anything to add over there?
I do not, because I have not read in about 2,000 years, so I got nothing for you.
You like the new microphone?
Sure.
You like being apart?
Well, you yell things at me, and then I yell things back at you.
I like it.
That's how this conversation is.
It's honestly what we do around the house a lot, so it just feels natural. That's it for us. If you stop by to hang out with us on Sunday, that means you're book people, and in my book, that means you're the best people. My name is John Minton, and this has been Talking Story.